What's going on out there, everybody? Hey, Alan D9J Sports. We're right back at it with another show. Hope everybody's doing good out there today or tonight. Know you're having a good time. Visiting all your family. Getting ready for the big day tomorrow to get up and go to church. How many of you remember back in the day when you had to say your speech and you didn't get to take the paper up there with you? Like I said, this is Alan with D9J Sports, man. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. And I definitely want you to make sure that you're safe the rest of the night. Have a good day tomorrow. And make sure that you're safe on your way back to your final destination. Hopefully this will give you something to, if you don't look at it tonight or when you travel tomorrow, you can tune in and listen to what we have to say, because we got a great one lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the draft. We're going to be talking about two teams in particular. And I know if you're from the 409 or the 713 or the 214, hey, you know what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about those Dallas Cowboys in Bizarro World. And we're going to take it right down the street. And we're going to talk about those Houston Texans. Oh, yeah. Two Texas teams trying to rebound. Trying to rebound and get to the Super Bowl, a place where the Houston Texans have never been, and the Cowboys haven't been in so long. They haven't been since the likes of Aikman, Emmett, and Smith. So you know that's been a long time ago. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alan with D9J Sports. Hey, but before we start today's show, I'm going to need you to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to need you to hit the like and subscribe button. All my subscribers out there, appreciate you sticking with me as usual. But before we get started today, I want to send a special hello and congratulations to Mayor Gorman. And for those of you around here, you know who that is. It's Nasara Gorman. She's from here in Jasper. But her daughter, she's out in San Diego State. And she was at the Mount Sac relays, and hey, she jumped her way to the finals, man. So she's been doing that track thing, man, for I think like 4 years now. And hey, man, her mom posted it. So I know her mom and dad is really proud of her. I know Earl, everybody, my classmate Earl and James, we call him Driver, and her mom and everybody from around here is proud of any of the kids of somebody that we know, and especially Nasara. And hey, man, we really love her and her husband and the whole family, man. So hey, young lady Maya, keep doing what you're doing. And that's great to see that. It's great to see that. And Sarah done put us some athletes out there. And we haven't seen them since, well, it's been maybe a couple of months since the homecoming, and we were able to see all of them. So once again, congratulations to her and the whole family. And also, we want to make sure that, hey, whenever the youngsters are doing something, no matter if you have a platform, you need to make sure that you let them know that you're thinking about them. And because, remember what I told you about those relationships that you probably built with their parents are probably lifetime relationships, and their children are just like family too. They are family. Okay? So once again, this is Alan with D9J Sports. I'm going to need you to like and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like and subscribe button. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with, well, should I flip a coin and say Dallas or the Texans first? So to be even, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with the Cowboys. Okay, I'm going to go from worst to first. How about that? And then I'm going to say the best for last. So then you Cowboy fans and Texans fans and all got who should have been first or last. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to start out with the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott and his return and all the stuff that goes on up there with Micah Parsons and all the guys in Bizarro World, as you know we like to call it here at D9J Sports. So, in saying that, what do the Dallas Cowboys need? Now, I'm sure that you have your opinion about what the Dallas Cowboys need if you're a diehard fan. Well, I'm not a diehard fan. Now, for most of you out there, you say, well, you're not a diehard fan, but you always report on them. Well, I report on everybody. And it just happens to be these two teams in Texas, and I know that my brothers and one of my brothers and my uncles and everybody, they love the Cowboys. And Dunn, I know Dunn Forward out there, he loves the Cowboys. And everybody, they love the Cowboys, so that's what we're going to talk about. First. So what do they need? in my estimation. I think that when I take an overall look at the Cowboys, I'm going to go a little different route than everybody. So the normal thing everybody says, oh, they need a running back. They need a running back. Or they need a quarterback. Well, I'm not going to do that because I've watched Rico Dowd over the last season and did the Spur England when he played the year before that. And I think Rico Dowd is a pretty good running back. I think he is. I think and because, and the number one thing people say, well, get Ashton Jeanty, get Ashton Jeanty. Well, Ashton Jeanty probably will not, ladies and gentlemen, be on the board when the Cowboys come up. And if they do pick him, I'm not going to say that it's a wasted pick because you want to take the best person that's in the draft in that position. But if you are a team that has aspirations of going all the way and you've spent all that money on the likes of Dak and CD now, and you're gonna have to get some things together. So in saying CD name, that's where I'm gonna go at, ladies and gentlemen. I think that the Dallas Cowboys need two things offensively. They need two things offensively. I think that they need to go out and they need to get them a slot receiver. And I'm not talking about another number, because you already got a number one of the best receivers arguably in the National Football League, in CD Lamb, who proves year after year he can get a job done. Okay, but you need somebody to take some of that pressure off of CD Lamb. Okay, and that position right there, I think you need a chain mover if you're the Dallas Cowboys. And what do I mean by a chain mover? You need somebody like a Julian Edelman, a Wes Welker, or some of those type of young men who can go out there and, hey, on third down, they can get you 7 yards. They can run that Texas route. They can run that deep end. I mean that short end. Okay, they can run that stop route and get you 6-7 yards and take some of the pressure off of Dak Prescott because you got a pretty good tight end. Okay, so when you get that, then now you've got something to slow down some of that pass rush on Dak. Now, who do you get? Now, will Luther Burton from Missouri be on the board? I highly doubt it, ladies and gentlemen. I highly doubt it. But if Luther Burton is, and if you haven't seen Luther Burton play for Missouri, the young man's off the chain. He's off the chain. But for me, I think that the player to pick, I think that the player that the Cowboys need, because if not, you're going to see this player. You're going to see this player, and he's electrifying, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking none other than Jimmy Horn Jr. Jimmy Horn Jr. from the University of Colorado, the Colorado Buffaloes. Jimmy Horn Jr., ladies and gentlemen, is electrifying. And when you hear Steve Smith say he was right there on the sideline or on the field during Pro Day at the Combine, hey, when Steve Smith says a smaller stature player can play, you better bet your bottom dollar that he can play because you know Steve Smith was, I don't know what's above a dog, but Steve Smith wasn't big. But Steve Smith was a baller. Jimmy Horn Jr., I don't know if he's going to be as rough. He's rough, but you know Steve Smith was rough. But Jimmy Horn Jr., man, he's the type of cat that can make those plays for you. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, they've changed the rule again on kickoff. I think it's going to be getting to the third. They want you to run the ball. They want to see more run backs this year. And negate all the touchbacks. One day they're going to get it back. I wish they would just left it alone. But so you're going to need a player, a middle round player, say second round, late first round, second round player, or something like that, who can play special teams that you don't have to spend a lot of money on. Now, I'm not trying to take money out of the young man's pocket. I'm just saying of what the Cowboys can probably afford. That's what you're going to need. You're going to need somebody who's going to come in, who's going to be hungry, who's not a diva. You've seen he was on a team with some guys who could play, and a team full of receivers, and he didn't even get that many targets, but he was still getting his. He was getting his, man, on a team where you know Shador was having to get rid of that football to them boys. And you see how when you getting rid of it quick as Shador was having to get rid of it, you know that the young man can play some football. So you definitely want to be able to get a player like that, or Leonte West, or some of the guys. But I think Jimmy Horn Jr. is the man that the Dallas Cowboys need. Next, offensively, I think that the Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, need to go out and they need to get them a lineman, ladies and gentlemen. They got to secure their line because the problem is you're not going to be able to drop back in the pocket and pass the football 50 times. And it doesn't matter whether Dak's coming off an injury or not. You're not going to be able to get back there and pass it 50 times. You saw what happened to one of the GOATs. You saw what happened to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, because if you do, man, no, it's not gonna work, man. It's not. You saw Jalen Hurts pass it, 20, 25 times in the Super Bowl, and they were able to win. But they, because they were putting that pressure on Pat. Okay, Jalen was periodically throwing, and Saquon Barkley was getting the football and toting the football. So be honest with yourself. If you're just looking at it like I'm trying to explain it to you now, Dak Prescott is a pretty good quarterback. I mean, no matter what you think, Dak Prescott's a pretty good quarterback. But the difference in Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts is they had Saquon Barkley was toting that rock. Their offensive line was one of the best lines in the league. I would say secondary to. I think that the best offensive line in the National Football League is it ain't even close. Is the line for the Detroit Lions. Just me. It's the Detroit Lions. Matter of fact, I should have put a Detroit shirt on tonight, but that's who I think the best line. So that's what the Cowboys need to get back to offensively and stop trying to pass the football. You got a new head coach, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see what they're gonna do, but that's what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to change up their philosophy. Hey, you need to run the football, and you need to make those dink dunk passes, and then open it up. Cause see, when you start bringing them up, get them out there too high safety and bring them up. Now CD can go to work down the field. Okay, so once again, I'm going to need you to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the like and subscribe button. So we're going to keep this thing moving, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go right down the street, and we're going to talk those Texans, and D'Amico Ryans doing an outstanding job. He's done an outstanding job in Frisco when he was in San Francisco, and he's done a heck of a job with the Houston Texans. Now, what do I think that the Houston Texans they need? Now, and for all you fans who are Houston Texan fans, I'm here to tell you, because I saw some Houston Texan fans today. We've got several people. I know my brother's brother-in-law and sister, Roy and them, they were the Fennells. They go down to check out the Texans, and you've got Sonya Weissing and them. They all go down there, and they love them Texans, man. They love them Texans, and I like the Texans too. But what do I think the Texans need? I think that the Texans are pretty much I don't think they need receivers, because I mean, you got, if Diggs comes back off his injury, and which Achilles injury is pretty tough, and all the other drama he has going on, he comes back, and Tank Dell comes back along with number 12, which is outstanding. They've got a heck of a running game with Joe Mixon. But what the Houston Texans need is you need some more offensive line help. Okay? Not much. But but the problem with the Texans they were doing a heck of a job, okay, at the beginning of the season, and then a healthy Joe Mixon, hey man, he was toting the football, but when the rubber hit the road at the end of the season, man, CJ was getting sacked. And you can't expect for CJ Stroud to have a year like he had his rookie. See, it's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, in the National Football League, where you see a rookie come in and play like, say, Jaden Daniels, right, for the Washington Commanders. And you almost called them, you know what I almost called them. I'm going to say it anyway, the Redskins, but you know they're the Commanders. But you saw the season he had. I can pretty much bet my bottom dollar on it, ladies and gentlemen. He will not repeat that this year with the Washington Commanders. That will not happen. It doesn't happen like that in the National Football League. I'm not going to tell you he's going to be terrible, but I'm telling you, he's going to have a second-year drop-off. I promise you that. So, in saying that, that's what happened to CJ, and then CJ was dropping back, man, and CJ was turning that rock over, man. He was turning over, and CJ, you got to stop turnovers. You got to stop turnovers, and that comes with offensive protection. You got to have some offensive protection, because I'm going to tell you, the defense played pretty good for the Texans. They played pretty good for the Texans. But when you're coughing the football up, and that's not going to happen, your quarterback is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the National Football League. Hey, man, you don't want to ruin a good thing that you have in a young, promising quarterback like C.J. Stroud. You want to make, because let's keep it real. You're going to need it, because you think about this. You've got Lamar Jackson in that division. I mean, in the AFC. You've got the GOAT. This era's GOAT. You got Pat, okay? Then you've got Josh Allen, okay? Who else you got? And I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry, Joe Burrows. I wasn't trying to. You got Joe Burrows. You got some players. You got some. You got Justin Herbert. The AFC man is packed with some. You got Bo Nix. So you're gonna need a quarterback who can stand upright in that pocket and not get him sacked, because every week, man, in the AFC, American Football Conference, you're gonna be playing some teams that have a heck of a quarterback. So you're going to have to straighten that out. Now, overall, for the Texans defense, I believe that the Texans need to get maybe another interior lineman or two, because that's what you're going to need down the stretch, especially when you're playing those, when you get to the playoffs. See, because it isn't, we know that the Texans got the type of team that can get to the playoffs. So we're talking now, we're talking about, don't nobody want to just see you go get to the playoffs. We want to see you get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. You're not going to get there if you're getting in the playoffs and you can't keep your quarterback standing upright. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And dropping back in the pocket, passing and everything isn't going to get you there either, because chances are, unless you win out, you're going to probably be on the road one of them playoff games, and it's not going to be in the friendly confines of Reliance Stadium. It's not going to be in those friendly confines. You're going to have to be outside, and you're going to have to keep your quarterback upright. And chances are you're going to probably be in Baltimore. You're going to be in Kansas City, in Arrowhead, or you're going to be out there with Lamar and them, where it's free. It's cold out there. Okay, so you're going to have your hands full. And I'm telling you, things are going to change, because this is going to be Jim Harbaugh's second year. So Texans, you got to be able to get it together. You got to get it together. So once again, this is Alan with D9J Sports. I'm definitely going to need you to hit that like and subscribe button. I need you to hit the like and subscribe button. So we've got a lot of things going on. I know that the draft, a lot of people are really, really excited about the draft. Well, for me, I'm not really a big proponent of the draft, even though I'm doing this video. A couple of my buddies wanted me to do it. And the reason why is I think that the draft itself, to me, and what they do with the combine, really, for me, isn't indicative of what really happens on the football field. Now, some of the drills are. But some of them, I want you to think about this. I'm going to try to explain it to you. Because if you were a player, man, I'm not just talking about like if you were a high school player. No knock if you didn't play college ball. But if you went past high school ball and if you were a pretty elite player, I want you to, you understand where I'm coming from. For those of you who haven't, let me explain to you several things that you probably don't know. The way you sit up and watch football from the stands, or the way you sit up and watch it at home, really isn't the way the game is if you're out there on the field playing. I don't know if you know that, and I'm not telling you don't have common sense, but what I'm telling you, it is totally different from what you see in the stands or on TV being out there on the field. So, do you need to be strong? Yeah, you need to be strong, but the 225 bench press. Well, if you can't bench 225 more than 10, 15 times, does that mean you're not going to be a good player? No. If you run the 40-yard dash and you can't run a 4.2 or 4.3 or 4.40, does that mean you're not going to be a good football player? No. Some of the drills that they have you doing, the short shuttle is down. I will tell you that the short shuttle drill is where you run this way, run that way, run back, is indicative. I think that the broad jump, the vertical jump is because it's an indicative of explosion. Okay. Drills like that are. Now, some of the questions that they ask, are they really indicative of whether you can play football or not? Is the Wonderlic really a really true definition of whether you're smart enough to play football? So for those of you who don't know, the Wonderlic is a test that they give they give everybody, and you have to take that Wonderlic test, and there's so many questions, and then they try to give you a score on that. But does that mean that you can play? Well, I'm going to tell you no, because the fastest person in the National Football League combine ever has one good year under his belt for the Kansas City Chiefs. The young man from Texas, he's doing an incredible job. But Kalen Bowens the year before that, second fastest. I don't even know if he may be on somebody's practice squad. John Ross, the guy who was the fastest. I don't even think he's probably playing the USFL or something, but they're not. Okay, the fastest guys in the 40-yard dash, that's not it. Okay, the GOAT himself, Jerry Rice, ran a 4.640, but you wouldn't know it if we didn't ever tell you that, and you saw him playing football and he got his hands on the football, he didn't get caught from behind. Michael Irvin, the playmaker, one of the greatest players ever. He ran a 4.640. Okay, now you're going to have exceptions to the rule, like the prime time himself. Coach Prime, y'all call him Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Yeah, he run a 4.240. Okay, but does that mean that everybody you have to do that? So those are some of the things that I tell you about the combine that are a little bit different for me. Okay, a little bit different for me. So those are some of the things that we want to touch on tonight. Hope you have a good holiday, the rest of the holiday tomorrow. And, hey, before you know it, you know what's going to happen. That clock's going to be going off again. So, finally, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alan with D9J Sports. And once again, on our way out, Mayor out there with San Diego State and the Sarah and all the gang out there. Earl, everybody. Hey, keep pushing, young lady. Keep jumping. Keep jumping. Don't never let anybody tell you that you don't need to be jumping. You jump your way to the finals. Keep on jumping. That's all I'm going to tell you. Keep on jumping. And for all you youngsters out there, keep doing your thing. And the young man down in Duncanville, I don't want to, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, he ran the fastest. This dude run a 800 meter dash in high school. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is that's Usain Bolt. I'm just telling you, this dude run a 988. I cannot explain to you how impressive that is, ladies. I think was it a +6 win. I don't care. He run a sub 10. Oh, that's days of old, ladies and gentlemen. That's days of old. You don't see that around. We don't see that around here. We got kids, our fastest kids running 11s, 10-8, 10-9, 11 flats. You're really not that much faster than me, and I'm 60. And for those of you who think I'm joking, think about it. You run a 10-9, that's a 4.740. You feel me? So to that young man and to all of you out there, keep doing what you're doing in Jasper Bulldog baseball team. It ain't where you start, it's where you finish at. We know you're struggling right now. Keep pushing through. Alan with D9J Sports. We're definitely out of here.